Hey YouTube, and welcome to Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. I'm Thermite 917 along with Middleburg and Kane as always, and we have a great podcast for you today. We're going to discuss this weekend's races from Auto Club, hand out some nice shiny awards, talk about a few paint schemes, make fantasy picks, and we will also have a special guest on our show a little later. We just found him wandering around the halls of our studio and decided to let him in. But anyway, let's dive right in, guys. What did you think of the racing this week?
Well, I thought it was all right. I think that this weekend was a better display of racing overall, and I think we all expected it from Auto Club. You know, considering how it's been in the past recent years. I I still feel the race was dominated, and obviously on paper it was. It still was dominated by two people, Truex and Kyle Larson. But I mean, there was some decent things going on, and the race itself, just overall, was more interesting. You know, like there was just good things about it. You know, regardless of its blank middle section, like with a lot of seemingly nothing going on other than some track position shuffling.
Yeah, I mean, it was an exciting start, and that got me hopeful for it being a good race. Unfortunately, it got kind of boring in the middle, but if you're going to have anyone dominate, I'd be fine with it being Larson and Martin Truex Jr. At least it wasn't like, Kyle Busch or Jimmy Johnson or someone like that. So it's nice to see the variety of leaders we've had this year. And then we had a crazy ending, which we'll get into shortly. But yeah, I mean, I love Auto Club, especially lately, and even when not much is happening, it's still a fun track to race on. So, it's a pretty solid race.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty solid race too. Yeah, I mean it could have been better. I mean, obviously Larson and Truex dominating. I mean, it really didn't help, but you know what? That's just the nature of the beast at Auto Club. You're not going to get like a shitload of lead changes like you would at say Daytona or Talladega. But it was still a solid race nonetheless. Um, yeah, there were definitely some ups and downs about it, but I mean, I mean, I stayed awake for it. I didn't fall asleep because one driver dominated like and led like 100% of the race. But you know what? It was fun to watch, and I hope they don't repave it. That's for sure. I really want to see that old pavement stick around for as long as it can.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. And I agree with you, but they've been saying, the drivers even said they need to repave that backstretch. Just the backstretch. Just the damn backstretch. You know, it's so bumpy. You saw how the cars were just bouncing up and down, and it's like, it's almost a pain for the damn drivers. I mean, you can see the word ride quality was used, and like teams have to give up some of it, in order to improve their cars in other areas. And it would just be rather simple if the backstretch was smooth, easier to move around, and the potential for like a straightaway wreck would be a lot less because you saw some really close calls, including in the Xfinity race when Paul Menard got turned into the wall. I don't know if that was necessarily a result of bumps, but still, the point is cars were just a little bit edgy and out of control. Sure, you got the low downforce thing too, but I mean it's obvious. All you have to do is just look at the close camera shots you saw throughout the weekend of cars going down the backstretch, and they look like they're bucking a Bronco.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting if they just repaved the backstretch. I think they tried grounding it down once, and it obviously didn't do too much. But yeah, I don't think the Paul Menard crash had anything to do with that. That was just kind of a product of the wide straightaways and everything, and just coming together. One car was low and one was high, but yeah, I think it's due for a repave at some point, just like Atlanta. I don't even know if they're going along with Atlanta after the drivers complained about not wanting to repave it. But all good things must come to an end eventually. So
That is true. I mean,
Yeah,
they're making a lot of speed at Auto Club. Just imagine if they repaved it and the type of speeds they get then. But
true. And
you
then
know,
maybe added some progressive banking too, like Michigan.
potentially depends on what they want to do with the track. But
I hope
at
they don't
least,
do that.
Yeah.
yeah, that would,
No.
to me, I don't change it. I mean, Auto Club's Auto Club. Let it be that way, and it's been good. Pretty solid. I
Yeah.
think honestly, I don't think that this race was as good as what we saw in the past few years. Maybe that's just my opinion, but it's still was like better than Auto Club like 2007 or something like that. Auto Club used to be a very dull race. People were wanting it off the calendar. Now it's something you look forward to. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how, all of a sudden the racing just started getting good there.
And there was obviously some crazy finishes, crazy things happening, and you kind of saw that again today, even though the finish, like for the win, wasn't as crazy. But still, it was definitely there. The element of craziness, just even in a general race, like you cautions breed damn cautions, man. And I honestly I thought that was gonna happen at the beginning, but everybody really settled their shit after the opening craziness. I mean, right from the get-go, before they even got to the line, Hamlin doesn't go. There's a stack up. Several cars that you thought were going to be contenders throughout the day were immediately hampered. Keselowski, Newman had some problems. Harvick seemed to be the one that got the worst end of it because he ultimately he did not bring out a caution. He had a tire go down under green, didn't catch a caution, lost a couple laps, lost a lap there, ended up going an additional lap down because he was just slow. But Keselowski, he got damaged from that, right? He was the first car that got damaged. He was right behind Hamlin, and then he ended up getting spun out by Jimmy Johnson just a couple laps after that. And Jimmy also had a pretty dull day after that. I mean, I don't know if the damage really affected him that much, but he was considerably slower after all of that. So, just an insane start, and then it just cooled off. Then there wasn't another contact-related caution until late in the race, late in stage 3, with what, less than 20 to go?
Greg Alding.
About 20 to go?
Yeah, it was Greg Alding.
Yeah, with Greg Galding hitting the wall and bringing out a caution and setting up the last. I don't even know the number of cautions that happened, but there was quite a considerable amount of them.
Yeah, there were at least like
Cautions breed
6 near the end.
And that was the cautions breed cautions, and it got crazy towards the end, guys not giving each other as much room. And you kind of expect that, obviously. It's near the end of the race. But it just got crazy. Yeah, and even though there wasn't as much carnage as I thought there was going to be, it looked like on some of these restarts, which for the record were incredibly crazy throughout the entire race. Every restart was insane, as always, and it looked like these guys were just going to pile up, like get in a big wreck, and it just didn't really happen. Obviously, Kansas had a massive hit. That was an isolated one-car incident. But again, for the second week in a row, he ends up in a pile of rubble at a very awkward and awful spot to hit.
Yeah, that's such a bad angle. I don't know why they haven't really changed the design there yet. But I feel bad for him. 2 hard hits in a row. He had the cut tire at Phoenix. But I mean, there's nothing like a restart at Auto Club. It's just crazy.
Like, it is, and it's probably as crazy as like a Pocono. Pocono gets really wide because obviously it's a wide front stretch, wide track, and just lots of cars going everywhere, scrambling for a small amount of space. Ultimately, once you get into the corner.
Yeah, but in the end, Larson pulled off the weekend sweep, his second career win. So obviously, really happy for him.
Yeah, everybody's happy for Larson. It's a big deal for him. Obviously this is his 4th full-time year in Cup. Went the first 2 years winless, and he did snag a win last year, but he just been off to one hell of a start this year, and I knew it. I just knew he was overdue. I didn't think he was going to come up short again. Those guys put together a whole race. They were a little bit slower in one of the stages, might have had a pit stop or two not quite go their way, but he was just pretty much on rails, and that car could do whatever he wanted it to do, and it worked out perfectly for him. Hats off to those guys. They certainly earned it, and I highly doubt that's the last one of the year. I think they've got a couple more in their pocket, although I don't believe their momentum will cut off at some point, but they're still so good at this point that they just need to ride it as long as they can, and I'm sure they will. There's going to be some good tracks coming up for him at some point. I know, the short tracks might not be his game, but they're on a roll. They've got a lot of momentum, a lot of good things, and hell, even McMurray's feeding off of that. He's running solid too. So obviously the whole Chip Ganassi team has got something going with this new package.
Absolutely. It was fun watching not just Larson but Jimmy Mack too. I mean, after the hard luck that he has had over the past years. It's good to see both Ganassi cars like competing for wins on a weekly basis. I mean, I don't know. Now I don't know if that necessarily spreads to the Xfinity series. I mean, yeah, Brendan Poole is having some decent runs, but but still, the Cup program has really turned itself around just this season alone, and I wouldn't be surprised if McMurray finally broke his winless drought later this year. I mean, like you said, Larson is definitely going to win multiple races this year at the rate he's going.
And just real quick, I was going to say just a shout out to Clint Boyer, who finished third. I mean, that's pretty big for him. I mean, it's quite a rough season or two. And Daniel Suarez got seventh somehow.
Yeah, I saw that, and he came out of nowhere, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just some solid runs for people, that might not have been having the greatest day. Even Kevin Harvick, who was 2 laps down,
Yeah.
came back to finish 13th.
Yeah.
That's
And Eric Jones had a good car until later.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had an uncontrolled tire penalty, I believe, on the last stop.
Yeah.
And that
Or it
hampered
was one of the last
affected his-
stops. Yeah,
affected his
that
finish.
sucks.
But race ratings. What are we thinking here? What do you guys think? Kane, give us a rating.
Yeah, this is definitely better than Phoenix, I would think. So I think I'm going to give it a 6. Yeah, it was definitely a lot more action. Obviously, even though the race was dominated, but there was plenty of side-by-side racing, and obviously a crazy finish to boot. So I'll give it a 6.
All right, Nick.
I'll give it a 6.5. I like my fractions. It kind of had a little bit of a boring middle to it, and I'm not sure the ending quite made up for it. But it was a pretty good race overall.
I was thinking about giving it a 6.5. I'm gonna agree with Alex. I'll give it a 6. I think the assessment you just said was pretty spot on. I mean, the ending was crazy, but it didn't fully make up for just all of the just standard racing. Not a lot of action for the lead or anything like that. But yeah, 6 seems pretty good. Is that time for some awards now? Handing out some awards for the Auto Club weekend. And Kane, lead us off.
All right, as always, we will start off with our boner of the week, and that actually this week we have 2 boners of the week. Our first one is Ryan Sieg for his stupid crash with Cole Custer during the Xfinity race, and our second one goes to Fox for their bad camera angles of that same Cole Custer crash. What the hell were you guys thinking?
Yeah, pretty hard to miss a big crash like that. I don't know. But our next award is Jumpy Jackals, and that goes to Keselowski and Ryan Newman at the start of the race. Denny Hamlin obviously didn't go, but Keselowski and Newman were right behind him and eager to get moving, and it didn't quite work out, especially for Keselowski. So, oh well.
Our next award is #miserable mediocrity, and that unfortunately goes to Dale Earnhardt Jr. for yet another race where things just weren't like awful, but they just were so miserably mediocre.
The next award is Hi Wall, Missed You, and unfortunately for the second week in a row that goes to Matt Kenseth, who once again slams into the wall. I think this one hurt a little more. Got tagged by Martin Truex on a restart off of turn 2 and hit the wall at a pretty bad angle. So better luck next week, Matt Kenseth.
Next award. Hey, you finished! Corey LaJoie finally finished a race. I mean, I don't know if he has or he hasn't, but he didn't completely destroy a car, which is a good thing. So, yeah, he tried to, and he brought out a yellow, but he didn't. And he finished that race in that solidly looking Bubba Booker car. So, congratulations, Corey. You did it.
All right, and then our next award, as always, the Cigar Award. And this week we have 2 of them. First one goes to Brad Keselowski. Who would have thought that after getting involved in that huge wreck on the very start of the race and then spinning his car through the grass on lap 4, he would have come all the way back to finish second. I mean, I don't think I saw that coming, and I'm sure neither of these 2 did either. So, Cigar Award for Brad, and also a Cigar Award for Kyle Larson. obviously there's no way we could have ignored his performance both races this weekend. He sweeps both the Xfinity and the Cup race for I think it was the first time ever that he's done that. And man, he really put on a show for all the fans in his home state of California. So, cigar award to Kyle Larson. Congratulations, kid.
All right.
Hopefully he's old enough to smoke.
Wow, good one.
All right, our next award is once again that time for the crying towel, and it also doubles as the worst paint scheme for the week. This one's pretty sad. Rick Ware Racing, we almost let you off the hook. We almost let you fade away and hide around your usual 38th place running position. You ran a couple completely hideous paint schemes so far this season, but then this week comes along and you use it again! But this time it looks much worse because you use a sponsor that doesn't even come close to fitting the scheme. Bubba Burger! I guess they reached out to old Bubba and said, we'll give you a $5 bonus if you slap your logos right on top of Dash Hub and our man George Spoonington. And don't worry guys, our favorite musical spoon is still on there. Now, I'm all for reusing paint schemes with alternate logos and sponsors, as long as it makes sense. This paint scheme does not make any sense. This is a recycled piece of crap! The back of the car says, the burger that says bite me. And I would, but I don't want no recycled meat. If I wanted that, I would just go to McDonald's. No offense, Jamie. Corey LaJoy, who's, congratulations on actually finishing a race, he also ran a Bubba Burger paint scheme this week, and it actually looked pretty good. It has flames and everything. I mean, come on, flames, that's nice. But Timmy Hill's car, on the other hand, is an example of what not to do. It doesn't have flames. Where are the flames, Timmy? It literally has nothing on the paint scheme to support the sponsor. It's offensive to paint schemes, it's offensive to hamburgers, and most importantly, it's offensive to people named Bubba. And also, look at the logo above the rear tire. It's all squished and distorted like Kyle Busch's face after Las Vegas. I'm a graphic designer, so I should know you're not supposed to do that. That's just not good. It's nice you actually got a sponsor that doesn't look like a former president, but at least show them you care enough by designing a paint scheme for it. If Corey LaJoy's team could do it after the crap year he's had, so can you. I may never bite a burger better than a Bubba, as their slogan says, but I also may never see another paint scheme this season that looks more half-assed than this one. So please hire a legit designer who knows the difference between a 200-layer decal versus Tech 6. There's 3 people right here who would be happy to do it. And there's a crying towel.
Holy shit, you just throttled everything, Thermite. I mean, I didn't know how you could raise the bar after your last crying towel, but Jesus, dude. That's why I just sat back and took all that in. Wow. You really brought it. You brought your A game, man.
Thank you. It was fun.
Alright, well now it's time for paint schemes and what our favorite ones for the week, but first a small dishonorable mention since we're just coming off destroying the worst car of the week. That goes to Eric Jones's 77 car. Now, I'm not saying anything about the paint scheme in particular, because I actually like it, but rather the 77 number placement. Look at that damn placement. Like, what was going through the decal guy's head at that moment? We want to know this information because I am so confused. It looks terrible. I don't like it. It's so far down. It's like, hey, little guy, where are you going? Get back up there. Because it looks fine on the right side, but they dropped the ball on that one. Enough about shitty things. Let's talk about some good things. Nick, what is your favorite paint scheme of the week?
Alright, well, there were a lot of good ones to choose from, a lot of solid paint schemes, but I'm going to go with Clint Boyer's Rush Truck Center's Chevy. It's not a perfect scheme.
Ford.
Oh my god. There we go. Yeah. It's not a perfect scheme, but I think the 14 could have been a little bigger or a little higher, and there's not much above the rear tires. It could have been placed a little better. But I love the colors, and I love how it kind of plays off of the new sprint car that Tony Stewart's been running. The white, red, I think that's red, don't judge me, yellow and black. But it's definitely better than his past paint schemes with that sponsor, so I'm happy with it, and I'm glad it got third. So who should be next? I'll go with Kane.
Well, like Nick, I'm also going to choose a Stewart-Haas Racing Ford. and it is going to be Kevin Harvick's Busch beer
Oh,
Ford.
kill yourself.
Well, anyways, this car actually, this is actually not the first time this season that car has ran in the Clash earlier this year, but this is the first points race for that Busch paint scheme, and very detailed. The forest scene in the background is really cool. Obviously, I was a big fan of last year's Busch scheme with the mountains on it, but this one's just as awesome, if not better. First of all, the shade of blue they used is really cool. I like that. And it's you know how I feel about Anheuser-Busch paint schemes, so it's a very solid car overall, and it's a shame it got damaged early in the race, but he did have an impressive comeback there at the end, so yeah, I'll go with that one.
Alrighty, fair enough. My paint scheme was weak. Goes to Daniel Suarez, and it's first time for him running the Subway car, and it's basically a just simply different color version of what Carl Edwards ran last year. But the Subway logo is just a little bit different because I believe they have changed their logo again, and it kind of represents more of an older style Subway. It's kind of pays homage to that, and although it's a relatively simple paint scheme, it's not that bad. I just thought it was solid, green, yellow. It was decent.
Alrighty, now we have a special guest, and we have been wanting to get this gentleman on the podcast for, ever since we came up with the idea. Those of you know him as DeMonteHD NASCAR, that is if you follow me and him, which if you don't follow him, then I don't know what mistake you made in your life. But he was once a painter of the NASCAR games. He's a great friend of ours, great friend of mine, known him for a long time. Mr. DeMonteHD, welcome back. We haven't heard your voice in a long time.
Thank you so much. That was such a gracious intro. I love it.
I'm glad you do, and we just had to have you on this thing, and hopefully we'll have this a couple more times. But tonight,
absolutely,
we're just going to ask you a bunch of speed dial questions. The boys have a couple questions. It'll just be me for this part. I'll be doing asking the questions that Nick and Alex have presented, as well as one of my own. And Demani is going to fill us in on his information, give us the Demani love, and
that's right.
That's what we're going to do here. So our first question comes from Mr. Alex Kane Jr. 88, and he says, "What has been your favorite paint scheme so far this 2017 season?"
That's a tough question because I liked Eric Jones' paint scheme today, that kind of black and red one, and I kind of like how Dale Jr.'s Service King Exalta, the one he ran today, kind of pops out. You can kind of see him in every helicopter cam they do. But favorite one of the season, I'm gonna go with the Eric Jones car I saw today. That thing's just banging. Like, besides the number placement, the 77 looks cool on it. So, I mean, that thing just looks like it was slapped on there by Cod Rock or something. So,
It's a great
car though. I like it.
I completely agree, and I'm glad you brought that up. The Eric Jones car is a dishonorable mention just because of the number placement, because that is just so lazy it's not even funny.
Brings it down to a 7.7 number.
Right. That's it. But that's a good car. I mean, I just jumping back into the whole Eric Jones thing, I think he had a really great paint scheme at Atlanta too, the Sirius XM car. That was a pretty banging car.
That was great. It's banging.
So
I'm also a big fan of Kenseth's Peak car he ran today.
Yeah.
Dark blue.
Couple good ones. Good choices there. All right, man. Now, next question comes from Mr. Chandler Bing. I mean, Thermite.
Yeah, Thermite.
That's his. Chandler Bing is his chat name in our group Facebook Messenger chat. So,
it's great.
Yeah, he asked, and this is a really good question. He said, if you could travel to any NASCAR track from any time period, what would it be and why?
I thought about this, and it'd definitely be, I think a lot of fans would agree, to Talladega in the early 2000s. I mean, you can't really argue it. Just how the cars ran and who was running, too. I just thought it was a great show. Really.
It was, and that's a hell of an answer. Plate track racing used to be so much different, and you know,
Yeah.
it would be nice to see that again.
It's still really cool today, but it's just something about it a long time ago, just really shifty and a lot more to pay attention to, I guess.
Right. I'll also add with like how the cars sounded. The engines had
Oh,
so much
yeah.
more distinct sound back in the day.
It's like F1, you know? It's changed so much, and it used to be so much more distinct.
Right. And now you go back and you look at it, and it's just such a nostalgic feeling hearing those
Exactly.
cars.
Looking back at all those times that the 8 car won.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see it, you know? But we're not going to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, those time periods, even backing up a little further when his old man was kicking ass left and right on plate tracks. So,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 2000.
but
That's a
Talladega,
great race.
yeah, Talladega in the early 2000s, hell, even late 90s, those were good time periods, that's for sure. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
all right, man. Now my question is, if you were gonna come back and do another car in the paint booth, it doesn't matter what car, how long, what game, who it is, you know,
Yeah.
if you wanted to do one more, what would you do?
That's a great question, because it'd probably be a 2017 car, a Mazda Energy Cup Series car. Probably like Brad Keselowski's favorite car as a candidate. Jimmy Johnson's paint scheme is really cool. It's one of my favorites. Joey Logano's AAA car he ran today was actually pretty awesome. Even Junior's car he ran today. It's just like every week I see a bunch of cars I do. But it's definitely between one of those. Just one of the faster cars, I guess, that you usually see up there.
Right. Well, that's a good. Yeah, those are a bunch of good ones. It's kind of a spin-off of the question of what your favorite paint scheme is, because obviously you would do one that you liked.
Right, exactly. But it's also one that would just be fun to create. You know?
Right.
That's also a big part of it.
Yeah. And I guess another small question, when are you gonna upload again?
Well, there's that long list of tutorials there.
Yeah. When are you gonna do your tutorial
Well,
on the Budweiser logo?
Here's my question to Middleburg and Tyler. When are you gonna do my request for that car?
Oh,
that
yeah.
8 car. Yeah, why don't you tell me about that real quick?
Yeah, okay. Well, so go ahead and switch the subjects and put the spotlight on me, you smart ass.
Right, that's right. Yeah, answer my question.
Well, it's a work in progress.
Oh, yeah. Let's start with that.
Yeah,
Once you release some cars.
it's totally a work in progress. You know, I mean, I'm also working on that Ricky Craven Tide car. You didn't request that one, did you?
Oh, really?
You may or may not have requested. I think you requested like 2 or 3 way back in the day, and I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'll get to it.
Definitely, yeah, because I actually expected you not to do them at any time soon, but I expected to see them by now. But it's okay, because you've made a lot of more serious projects, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you know, I was just more committed to other ones, and I learned after committing to several projects that I never did to, you know, and I learned this from you, and I have to give you a lot of credit, because you don't commit to things when you're not going to do them, especially the amount of tutorials. I could post a couple videos right now from your channel onto this podcast if I really wanted to. You saying, oh yeah, you had screenshots of people asking for that wanted spreadsheets or
That's
tutorials
right.
or this and that.
I was spotlighting everybody's opinions and maybe making fun of 1 or 2 of them.
Right.
But still considering them, and there's no way that I can't just hop in there quickly and do it now. I mean, I should probably practice because I haven't done it in a while, but that could always happen.
Yeah. You're gonna go back to NASCAR 14 and you know, give everybody a tutorial on your Goodyear logo. By the way, how do you do the middle of it? It looks like a swan, right?
You go to swans.com. You go swans.com/bytheponds.
Yes.
Okay. And it looks like a swan, and that's what it is.
My general point to that all was that, you know, you really inspired me to never commit to shit because you're not gonna do it.
Well, thank you. I mean, I guess I saltly appreciate that.
Hey, I've learned many life lessons from you, even though that you are just a little bit younger than me, and that's fine. We feed off of each other. That's what we do.
Well, hey, I I appreciate that, and life lessons are a valuable thing, and that means a lot. I think I might cry actually. So when I have the boys backstage, give me a towel.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
You're very welcome. And I shouldn't have even said that. I need to thank you. It's all on you, man. Thank you. If it wasn't for you, I would be 10 times more of a scrub than I am.
You had the potential, and you rose to the occasion, and you're a man now.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna go and capture that 4-4 at Wendy's. Okay?
We've gotten so far off the grid, it's not even funny, and that's fine.
We're just dragging it. It's cool though.
We're dragging ass.
It's been fun.
And, you know, no matter how much of this actually makes it into the podcast, this is the type of shit we always used to talk about.
That's right.
And
there's always the power of editing, whether this part makes it or not.
Right. But this is the whole point is this is the times, man. And I'm not even joking about crying anymore. I said damn it, I said I wasn't gonna get emotional about this. I really said it.
God.
And I'm lying.
Yeah, that's right. I feel the same way, man.
I'm getting Misty Mountains right now.
Getting Misty Mountain. The emotion detector is gonna pop out. You know?
This is gonna be totally edited out. This is so off the fucking spectrum. It's not even funny.
Dude, if we started at Auto Club Speedway in this podcast, we're like down the street at Hooters.
That's so true, though. It really is.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I remember all the nights we just go from talking about tits to Big Daddy to Dale Jr., where he finished at freaking, Bristol in 2003.
Yeah, to watching Adam Sandler, to somehow getting back to Dale Jr. finishing.
Yeah. Yeah, to somehow get back to Dale Jr. God damn it, we should have won that race in 2004.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, that one race they got penalized for fucking swearing like a dumbass.
That don't mean shit. Daddy won here 10 times. Well,
that don't mean fucking shit. Holy shit, I'm gonna puke.
Yeah. Oh. Well.
Shit, man. Let's just do our own podcast.
Yeah, you know what? I'm quitting the podcast right now, guys. I don't want to have to tell you guys this, but I'm quitting. And this is how you find out. We're gonna start rival podcasts, and I'm telling you right now, if you guys get 30 views, we're gonna get 42.
If you get 2 likes, we're getting 5.
And you know what? For every dime you make, we're gonna make 12 cents. We're gonna make a dime and 2 pennies. So we're gonna be kicking your ass left and right. I promise you.
We're gonna donate to you when we get famous, because we're gonna feel so bad, because you guys are gonna be talking about Ryan Blaney and fucking Matt Kenseth, and we're gonna be talking about Dale Jr. in 2002.
Yeah. You guys are gonna be talking about relevant stuff? Well, we're going nostalgia. That's right, we're playing the nostalgia card.
We're gonna a couple of beers, more like really tall glasses of Pepsi. Jerky.
Yeah.
And some non-alcoholic tonic.
That's what we're gonna call. We're gonna call it the alcoholic, non-alcoholic podcast that talks about racing things that are totally irrelevant.
Yeah, we're gonna have a small fan base, and it's gonna be like down to the core. You know.
Yeah, these guys are gonna be hardcore followers, and they're gonna be like, "When's next upload? Please, I can't sleep."
They're gonna be like the 50-year-olds who used to watch and cheer for me. I'm like, the next episode. That's them.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're gonna have all these old people like, yeah, about back there in 94. I remember when Sterling Marlin, he was running uphill there on the high side and had a tire go down, and yeah, that was a shame right there. Kodak car should have won that damn race.
Sterling Marlin. I like the way you said that. I remember when Dale Sr. he was better than Dale Jr.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I met Dale Sr. at my cousin's party. And I punched him in the face.
You probably didn't hear about it because I embarrassed his ass, so he never said about it.
He paid me $5,000 not to tell anybody.
Well, thank you, DeMonteHD. We're going to have to cut this off after all the rambling. I'm going to have so much to edit.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We just trailed off into a nice pathy walk in the summer day. Oh, I'm going to do it again. Thank you for having me
Yes,
on the show.
you are a fucking character, and I really wish we could have you as a full-time panel member, you know, and probably kick out Kane or something. You know, we hate that guy.
Yeah, we're going to start
But-
inspiring something, Kane. Don't tell him, though.
We love you, Kane. We're just giving you a hard time. But,
Yeah.
Demonte, thanks for answering questions and, you know, being chill as fuck and, you know, getting banter, having
Yeah.
banterlicious sessions.
It was great talking to you, man. Forgot how well he makes in the drink.
Yeah, we do. That's right. We go together like a really, really sexy drink.
Sick on the
And-
beach.
Yeah, like a real sexy one, a real tasty drink. And
Oh my god. That's right, though. He's
it
not
is
lying.
true. It's completely true. And believe me, we are 100% straight males. I promise
Okay,
you that.
No homo. Full homo, but no homo.
No homo, full homo, but a little bit of homo. It's not homo.
We're on Tuesdays only.
On Tuesdays and every other Saturday. So
Oh my God.
see you on Tuesday and see you on Saturday because it's that time of the week
I'm
in
calling
the
for
rotation.
Sunday. Okay, fine. Rotation.
Oh man, we're gonna mentally confuse anybody that decides to listen to this.
Oh my god, it's gonna be a weird segment.
Yeah, worst thing you've ever heard. But thank you to Monty HD again for like the 4th time. I don't know how I'm gonna edit all this, but
Thank
We-
you so much.
we appreciate your participation. We hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thanks, man. Been great.
Well, that was Damani HD. And it was great having him on this podcast. And no matter how much you actually hear of him, there was a lot more, believe me. There was so much I had to edit out. I said the word edit like 8 times. There was just so much, and it was a blast, and we're certainly going to have him on again. But that being said, you know, now we're going to move on to the fantasy picks. And what happened here at Auto Club? I picked Kyle Larson, who came away with the victory, and I come away with the overall weekend, you know, the fantasy win, because obviously, well, he won the race and did score the most points out of the other 2 picks. Nick picked Kyle Busch, and he finished 8th, and Alex finished 5th with Joey Logano. And those 2 actually tied on points with 39, I believe, is the number.
Yep.
So that's how they all did. I just knew Kyle Larson was gonna come away with a victory. I felt really
Yeah,
confident.
so did
about it.
I.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and I swooped in and stole your picnic, so you can deal with that scrub, like I said
picnic.
last time. Yeah,
Picnic.
yeah, your picnic. I stole your picnic and it was delicious. I'll take that W.
Yep.
Well, picks for this weekend. Nick, why don't you go ahead and go first, since you're sad about, you know, losing your picks before.
I am sad, but I'll deal with it because I think my pick will win this week, or else I wouldn't pick him, and that is Jimmy Johnson. He always seems to be pretty darn good here, obviously. So I know he's had a slow start to the year, but I think he can get it done. It's Martinsville. So Kane.
Well, I'm gonna go with a 5-time winner at Martinsville, and that's Demi Hamlin. Obviously JGR is off to a slow start this year, but the spring Martinsville race they always seem to show up. So I'm gonna go with the 11.
All right. I'm going to take a little bit of a surprise pick. This guy has never won at Martinsville, but he's had some solid races. He had a good battle with Denny Hamlin here 2 years ago in a 2015 race, nearly winning, and he's just for some reason been solid here. Even, I don't know why I'm puzzled about it. I guess that's just because I don't really care for him. But I think Brad Keselowski is going to pull through and win, get another win on the season. He's been stout, you know. The Penske guys have shown up, and they've been pretty solid at Martinsville. Obviously, Joey has a couple poles there, I believe. He probably should have won the fall 2015 Martinsville race, but Matt Kenseth took care of that, and I thank him for that maneuver. Anyhow,
And that guaranteed Gordon his last ever win.
yes, Kane, it did. Jeffy got a W. And But anyways, I think Penske pulls through again, or for the first time, I should say, because neither one of them have won there. So, but I think it's going to be Brad Keselowski getting his first Martinsville clock. That wraps it up, man. Yeah, it was a nice recap. Obviously, still I'm reeling on the complete destruction of that Bubba Burger car and DeMonteHD, coming back from the dead, making a reappearance on YouTube. All his loyal followers over there at DeMonteHD NASCAR, they thought he was goner, and he is as far as posting on his channel. But
Yeah.
we're so happy to have him here and participate with that. Obviously.
Thanks, Damani.
Yeah, thanks, Timoni.
Thanks so much.
That was not sincere enough, Kane.
Oh, okay, fine. Thank you so much. There. That sincere better?
That's much more sincere there, Harry.
Yeah.
But for DeMonteHD, for Kane Jr. 88, for Harry Carey, for Thermite 917, for Middleburg 1, and most importantly, our sponsor, not official sponsor, Perky Jerky. This has been Behind the Wall. You've been behind the wall, and thank you for listening. Our next award is #mediocre. Oh my god! Our next. Well, that
Okay.
time for some award. God damn it, Kane.
Don't push me, Thermite. We're having a nice chat here, and I will edit this out. Don't you worry. Question.
What, is he being a clam bake? Tell him to stop being a clam bake. No 1-14 Uncharted, man.
Did you hear that? He said that's what happens when you're a regular season champion. You act like a clam egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thermite just had a good one. He just said if you could jump any restart.
You should leave this part in so he hears our reaction to it.
Yeah.
Like the end or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just funny shit.
That is funny
Listen,
shit.
I mean, I know, or at least I've known for a fact that I didn't do that too much, but now I really feel like I did.
Hell yeah, you did.
For some reason, I really feel like I did.
Oh my god.